Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. Alright, been a minute since I did one of these. I was doing sort of a mix of stuff. I don't know if this is really going to be a particularly coherent video stylistically, but it's a little bit of metal, but I've kind of been listening to a lot of funk this past week, actually. And it's sort of one of those situations where I'm not sure what I'm going to say about the record, so we're just going to wing it here a little bit. Probably sample through a few things, and I don't think I have any crappy ones today. At least none like irredeemable, like, God, this just sucks ones, you know? So this one, obviously, is not a funk record. It's actually one that I pulled when I was doing the US Metal EP videos. And incidentally, I didn't show everything that I have. And it's kind of deliberate, because, like, when I first started making videos, it might be a little strong to say it was fashionable. One thing you saw channels do a lot of the time is they just sort of go through their shit, you know what I mean? The video like metal section, letter A, you know, metal section, letter B. And I always kind of felt like that was a bad idea because I want to hold a little something back, you know what I mean? If I sit there and I just go through and I'm like, here's everything I've got on this front, then why are you going to keep watching? You know what I've got, you know? I mean, yeah, I can get more shit, but like, you know, I don't really do like update videos per se, so seems like a better policy to keep you all sort of wondering. I suppose a little bit different with the Italian shit, but and to a lesser degree with the French stuff, but I don't know, I don't have as much of that stuff, so yeah. And there's a reason those are only EPs too. But this one is a 4-track one though. And it's a pretty cool one. It kind of punches above its weight, I think, a little bit, because it looks kind of corny, you know? Legion. But this is really pretty solid, man. These guys were, you know, there's a little bit of glam in the dress and shit like that, but they're fucking, this is a solid band, man. They weren't playing games. I said they're from Cleveland, they're actually from Willoughby. But they thank Willoughby Record Exchange, which is funny, because I worked at the Lakewood Record Exchange way back in the early 90s. It's recorded in 86. And yeah, you know, it's not thrash metal or anything like that. But it rocks pretty hard, man. It's a solid record, and it's just really charming, you know. So it wasn't that expensive either when I got it. I don't know what's happened to it in the last, you know, 25 years. But, you know, this isn't necessarily one of the ones that is a sought after, like that Dark Star one that I was showing last time. Yeah, this one, these are a little bit more difficult to come by, or more desirable, maybe I should say. Which is funny, because this one's probably heavier. And a lot of times the wimpier ones aren't the most expensive ones, but I don't know, man. This shit only makes a limited amount of sense to me, too. I've been at it for a while, so... yeah, I can talk about what's out there, but the why is a completely different question. Yeah. So my brother was in town for a couple days, and like, we had to listen to Max Planck. I mean, if only for the Transformers song, right? I mean, this record, I've hyped this a few times in the past. This is one of my very favorite records. It's a band that only ever got a demo release, Feel the Pain by Max Planck out of Seattle. And I love that they're a 3-piece too, by the way. But yeah, one of the songs on here is called Starscream. Like in Transformers, like in the original cartoon before like the more recent movies. And like he actually sings in a voice like Starscream. And if you remember that show, you know what I'm talking about. And it's really pretty fantastic. I might even throw it on for a minute later, because it's such a cool record, man. I've said this before, the main singer usually sounds, when he's not doing the Starscream thing, he sounds to me like Paul Murata from like a few different Cleveland bands, like the Mirrors and shit like that. And somehow that makes the thing sound even more sort of underground and underproduced than it already does, just by virtue of being a demo recording. You know, this is one record that is not overproduced. It doesn't sound shitty or anything like that, you know what I mean? But it definitely sounds like it was recorded in a rehearsal space and not like in a professional studio, you know? That's part of... you know, when you go in the studio and you have a decent production, they'll go in there and they'll hear the little things that are going on in the music and like lift those things out, sort of emphasize them a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's great. But on a demo, sometimes, you know, where you don't have that sort of professional like equipment and, you know, engineering chops, I suppose. A lot of times those sorts of little things will sort of stay hidden a little bit. They'll stay buried in the mix. So sometimes when a demo is really good, you listen to it a few times and keep sort of hearing new things in it for that reason, because all these little things sort of stay hidden. And overall, specifically with Max Planck, it gives me a feeling like there are these sort of secrets in there, you know what I mean? Like there's some things that are still sort of being hidden, you know what I mean? You sort of have to look in there and engage with it to really find them, you know? I just think that's really special. I mean, I've said lots of times, I don't really collect demos, and I don't really collect demos because there's so many fucking records. I'm not going to live long enough to listen to everything I want to hear, you know what I mean? Collecting demo tapes is just too arduous, you know? It's kind of impossible in the first place. And beyond that, it's, you know, these are old ass tapes. You know, there's no guarantee that I'm going to stick one in here and it's going to just like not play at all. You know what I mean? Like the things are kind of, it's ironic because back in the day, since you could like throw them around in your car and shit, it was sort of held up as being less fragile than records. But records have done a much better job of enduring, you know, proven technology, right? So anyway, there are a lot of labels right now out there too. I say right now, they've really been around for a long time, but a lot that are sort of dedicated to like unearthing like demo shit from cool bands that got overlooked. And there's a lot of cool shit, I find, and a lot of shit that's interesting, and a lot of shit that's fun to listen to. But there aren't so many that I've come across where I feel like, oh my god, this is like really first-rate shit, you know what I mean? And I could double the size of my metal section if I like went out there and really like hunted down just these fucking things that have been reissued, you know? So I try to take it a little bit easy with that kind of shit. Put this one on for a minute, actually. I just played this one earlier. Child's Play, First Toy. Yeah, from Kirkland, Washington. Although I could have sworn they were actually from Idaho originally. I don't have to read this whole thing, probably. Yeah, it says Seattle. Their address is in Kirkland. Why did I think Idaho on this one? There's probably a reason. Well, it's probably not because Septic Death was from Idaho before they moved to San Francisco. Yeah, this is another one, actually. This is a cool one, too. Like, Child's Play, First Toy, and, like, the way they look. That's another one they sort of set in that glam expectation. And I don't know if it was just the production values, or if they just fell down that same little magical hole that, like, Motley Crue on their first two records, and Wasp, and Leather Nun fell down when they were trying to make glam records, and they just came out sounding heavy and fucking, you know, full of attitude, and not just, like, corny and corporate, you know? Yeah, listen to this, man. This fucking smokes. There's some kind of glammy stylings on this thing. You can tell they kind of wanted to succeed, you know what I mean? These guys were never going to become like the Next Testament or anything like that. That wasn't on their agenda at all. Very cool band, though. Yeah, so Max Planck, man. Fucking great record. What else do you want to show here? Well, shit. This has been in rotation, man. Kind of pretty heavy rotation, too, man. You know, I think Stevie Wonder... Here's my hot take for the day, okay? I think Stevie Wonder is what people say Prince is. I kind of think Prince is a cornball. I just kind of think he's something... There's a time when I really liked Prince, like when I first heard that shit, it seemed edgy to me, and like, I hadn't really heard a lot of that kind of music either. But as time's gone by, that shit just has that staying power for me, you know? Stevie Wonder, on the other hand, I can keep listening to and listening to and listening to it. Even a well-played album like this. I mean, this has "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" and "Superstition" on it. You know what I mean? It's a popular record. It's a cool, like early pressing that has the braille on it. You see that? It's kind of awesome. And that's not the only one that I've played lately either. They're not all out here, but you know, both of these bad boys have made appearances on my turntable this week. Inner Visions and Music of My Mind. Fantastic records. Any of these three, if you don't have any Stevie, will start you off right, but I'd probably recommend Talking Book, because even though it has the hits on it, it's just the full package. But to get back to the point, like, so Prince, you know, famously played all the instruments himself in his early albums. Well, Stevie was a multi-instrumentalist too. I don't know that he played in stringed instruments particularly, but like when he wasn't doing like important, like pioneering synthesizer shit, like in the context of pop music, Stevie Wonder was like this huge innovator, you know what I mean? He was one of the first guys who's like talk boxes, like different kinds of synths and shit like that. He was really interested in that. And when he wasn't doing that shit, he was playing the drums himself. There's some great shit on YouTube where he's like sitting in with an Italian prog band called Formula One, and he's like playing drums, and it's like, you know, these white kids in Italy and then on the stage in the band, and he's playing drums with them, man. He's fucking smoking, man. And they're all great, like obviously, like really like in awe of the fact they're playing with Stevie Wonder, you know. It's fucking. I just learned not so long ago that it was Stevie who played the harmonica solo on, I guess that's why they call it The Blues by Elton John, if you remember that little gem. I do not have that record, and I probably will never have that record again. But it's one I listened to a lot when it came out, you know. I mean, I was like 11 or something like that, so what the fuck did I know about anything? But it's an awesome harmonica solo, you know what I mean? Shit like that. The Stevie is a multi-instrumentalist too. I think Stevie's songs are a lot better, man. Just great songwriter, you know. I don't like Prince, because I think Prince is kind of full of shit in a way that doesn't really appeal to me. And yes, I am implying there are ways of being full of shit that do appeal to me. Very much. Prince just seems so up himself all the time. It was just, you know. And like the other thing too is like the whole like sort of controversial thing. You know, it's just Prince thinking with his dick, you know? Whereas when Stevie was doing his thing, it was like political, you know what I mean? Like these songs like Big Brother or Living in the City, you know, shit like that. He was like saying something that was important, needed to be said, and it was personal, and it was, universal in a way that I think is more sort of sincere and more sort of deeply felt than I really want to have a ton of sex, but I'm a Jehovah's Witness, so I have all sorts of fucking weird religious issues around it, you know what I'm saying? And in spite of it all, like Prince was like famously like reserved. He'd like hang out in his little fucking compound or whatever in Minneapolis or whatever and shit like that, and like bands would kind of come and go and shit. Stevie Wonder, man, on this album, the first two lines of "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," which is the first song on this record, he had two of his backup singers sing. Stevie doesn't come in until like the third line of the song. He was just like, hey, yeah, you guys, you want to open the album? Why don't you just open the album for me? That's cool. Like that kind of generosity of spirit. I think that comes through in Stevie's records too, man. It's just life affirming in a way that's just like, again, like profound, you know what I mean? Like Stevie can make you smile, he can make you cry, he can like, just this whole sort of, and it's all with this just like real like sincerity, you know what I mean? I like his 60s records too, and he was still sort of under the thumb of the Motown producers, and he was a little kid who didn't really know what the hell he was doing. Fingertips, great shit, man. For Once in My Life, awesome song, you know what I mean? But after he renegotiated his contract with Motown and was really able to do his own thing with these records that I've been showing early in the 70s, I think those are fucking great and important records, man. And yeah, and next time you're like thinking about how great Prince is, maybe take another look at Stevie and realize that Stevie was doing this shit 10 years earlier. and with less ego. This is another really cool funk album. I actually discovered the Charles Wright 103rd Street Watts Band, or Charles Wright and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. Sorry, it's a long name. I actually discovered this by way of a cover, which was by a Cleveland band called SOUL, which is also great. In fact, you know something? It's so good. I'm going to fucking get it right now so I can show it real quick. Hang on a second. I got to go to a different section. The metal records are over there. The funk records are over there. So, like, they're like different logistics. Ooh. All right. Yeah, so it's a great record. Really cool. It's funky. And it's awesome. And it's early, too. This record's like 1970 or something like that. This isn't like a first pressing, but yeah, Charles Wright. It's a lot of people in the band, too. But, you know, you got a lot of horns and a lot of real instruments, right? High as apple pie. Slice one. You gotta love it. But the song, and then it also has the end, High as apple pie, slice two. It reminds me of the Ike's raps on the Isaac Hayes albums, where they're sort of numbered, you know. So if you like started with like the fourth album, it'd be like Ike's Rap 5, you know what I mean? Because there have been a few on the earlier ones. Yeah, so I discovered it through this band who covers it on here. And I took the trouble to pull this out because when I saw this record at the store, it was at a record shop. I remember this. It was a record shop on Divisadero Street in San Francisco. I don't remember the name of it, but there weren't any other record shops in Divisadero, so if you were in San Francisco in the 90s, you probably know what place I'm talking about. I also got my copy of the U2 12-inch by Negativland at the same shop. But anyway, I saw this one. It was on display, and I was like, yeah, there's no way that record's not coming home with me right now. I mean, the guys, they got a fucking hunchback guy. I mean, Jesus. How could this not be great? And guess what? It is great. Yeah. Down in the Ghetto, Message from a Black Man. A really serious record, but a really funky one and a really cool one. And one that I haven't played in a while, so I'm going to play it. Like, I grabbed it for myself. I grabbed it to show it, but I grabbed it because I'm going to play it too. So, they actually had another album too, which is also really good. Didn't hit me quite as hard because I already had the first one, but I remember I found this at Amoeba in Berkeley. I was like, oh yeah, fuck, another SOUL album that's coming home. The clothing game is still on point, in case you're wondering. There are a lot of cool things on this Beat Goes Public label too. I don't really know what the story was, but that was sort of their logo. It's like a little BGP in there. And as far as I can tell, what they basically did was they went and like licensed old like fantasy records, like Fantasy and Prestige, like from that sort of stable. But like they search out like the funky ones, you know what I mean? So like the Hot Barbecue I showed in a recent video by brother Jack McDuff. That was another one. I think that one was a Prestige they licensed, but I learned about it because I was like, oh, I got these other Beat Goes Public records and they were great, so maybe this one's going to be great too. And it was. Discovered Idris Muhammad through that label too, actually, for that kind of funky, jazzy stuff. Another fucking first-rate guy. Anyway, I'm not going to dig all this shit out and show every single one right now. But it's another example of how shopping by label has like led me to shit that I might not have found otherwise, which is why I do it. Yeah, so that shit that I've been listening to a lot of Japanese stuff, actually. Like, I kind of went nuts on this deep jazz reality series. Because I don't know anything about Japanese jazz, right? But I heard a couple, like, cool, like, funky records. And so when these would pop up, I would just sort of grab them, you know. And they tend to be kind of expensive, but you know, over the years, you end up with a few of them. And this is one of the ones that I think kind of could use a little more attention than it gets to. There's like, I mean, none of the shit's like, you know, Miles Davis in the 70s or anything like that as far as popularity goes, you know what I mean? But I think like Akira Ishikawa and some of these guys get a little bit more attention. I don't hear people talking about Takao Uematsu. And this is a great record, man. It's a little bit of a lame cover by comparison with some of them. Looks sort of, it looks like a Hat Hut record, actually, I think. And there he is on the back. This record just really strikes a good balance. Some of these records... Okay, so like this one, Rock Communication by Norio Maeda and All Stars. This is a really cool record too. But like the songs are kind of more clearly defined. You can read the titles if you're up for it. I can figure out how the katakana is pronounced, generally speaking, but that's about it. Anyway, this one's a lot more sort of, it's not a rock album. It's definitely still kind of in the funky jazz territory, but it plays more sort of the rock idioms. It sort of goes closer. It's sort of heavier as far as like the guitar sound and shit like that. And the songs are kind of shorter, you know what I mean? This one, and some of the jazzier ones are more just like, they kind of lose some of that funky aspect of some of these jazz reality ones. Like there's one by a trombone player whose name's escaping me at the moment. I'm not the greatest with Japanese names anyway, if I'm honest. I could find it though. I know where it is. Anyway, those records are good. I'm not shitting on any of those records. But this one, Straight Ahead, by, again, Takao Uematsu, it like strikes this balance like right down the middle of that sort of line where it's like it's funky, there's a lot of horns and shit like that, and it's improvised. It's definitely a jazz record, but it's not so deep in that sort of idiom that it's, you know, you have to sort of listen to it as like, you know, a serious jazz record that you have to like sort of concentrate on, you know what I mean? If you're just sort of like what I've been doing a lot of this week, like I'm gonna listen to something funky, you know what I mean? A little down, I'm gonna like let my spirits like get lifted up by something a little bit funky. I'm gonna listen to some Stevie, I'm gonna listen to some Takao. And it really scratches the itch, man. It really does the job. It does it in a different way than some of these other ones. These guys do, this guy's band does not sound like SOUL. But if you're gonna spend a day and you're just gonna listen to funk records, those two sort of balance each other out. It's like they're kind of like different poles, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, as far as shitting on Akira Ishikawa and Count Buffalo's, this one's sitting right here too. I love this record. I have a few of his records and they're all fantastic, but this one's probably my favorite. Akira Ishikawa, Count Buffalo Jazz and Rock Band. Memories of Africa. Yeah, he had a couple sort of like Africa-based ones. You know what else is funny is you start collecting Japanese jazz, it isn't long before the Japanese dominate your eyes. Like, I'm hard pressed to think of a jazz man who isn't Japanese, whose last name starts with an I. I might be able to come up with one. There's probably a really obvious one I'm missing. You're probably yelling at the camera. I mean, not like Stan Getz, but like someone of that caliber where it's like everyone knows. I'm just like, oh shit, brain fart, you know? So yeah, some of that stuff's been playing. Here's another one I just played earlier today, actually, by the Ryojiro Furusawa Quartet. Rocco. How many records do you have with a picture of an otter swimming on the cover? It's another fantastic record. A lot of electronic keys on this one, which I really like. And like just the right amount of horns too, you know, to make this really sort of a fun listen, you know, and just not like a full-on funk record, not like a Parliament record where there's like a whole horn section, but like a jazz record that's sort of funky as far as how the playing goes, and the brass to sort of keep it moving and sort of draw you in, you know what I mean? Yeah. So what else do we have to talk about? Let's show a couple more metal ones here. Here's one I've been playing kind of a lot. Or I was playing a lot before I went on this funk kick I just fell into a couple days ago. I love it when bands spell their names wrong on the cover. So this is Crna Udovica, which apparently means Black Widow. And it's a Yugoslav band. I'm pretty sure they're Croatian. Yeah, actually, you know what the big difference is between Serbian and Croatian is the alphabet. Like Croatian uses a Latin alphabet and Serbian uses a Cyrillic alphabet. It's really the only difference. So yeah, but yeah, it's funny because it's like, you know, if you listen to metal for a while, you know your old English font, right? I mean, if you listen to metal, you probably played D&D and learned it there, and like just sort of brought it with you into metal. And oh yeah, I can read all those titles. So yeah, so it's supposed to be Crna, but it says Crna, and Udovica, but it says Udovica, like with a Y there. Gotta love it. Not the heaviest thing ever. This band isn't the second coming of Heller. Not that we're snoozing on Heller. Well, I'm not going to dig it out now. Unless I find it like right here. Oh yeah, there it is. So this record's a lot heavier than Crna Udovica. But, yeah, the Yugoslav one. But this is a really cool record, man. And mostly it's just the songs. I just enjoy them, you know what I mean? They stray a little close to cheese territory on this one, which surprised me a little bit coming from a South Slavic band like this. But, you know, this record just works for me, man. So, yeah. So the entry for my Slavic metal record section. What else do I have? I've been looking at some kind of obvious ones too, man. Mixing it up a little bit here. Actually, speaking of ones that kind of stray into cheese territory, but I really like a lot. Fucking this Amulet record. Really good shit, man. I want to say if you dig shit like, you know, Poobah, Steamroller, and that sort of thing, that you might like this. But this is really different. This is a lot brighter. It's not as dark as that. This is more like Full Moon. If you like the Full Moon record, you'll probably really like Amulet, too. And for some reason, the Full Moon seems to have gotten a lot more attention. So, I don't know. This is kind of an early one, 1980, for as heavy as it is. And it's definitely hard rocky and definitely has a foot in the 70s. It's not like a full-on, like, modern metal band. But neither is Full Moon, you know? But, yeah, as far as obvious ones, I think this is my favorite Sabotage. It was Sirens for a long time, but I think I like the Dungeons They're Calling more. And I guess strictly speaking, it's an EP with 6 songs. It's a good half hour long, though. I don't care what you want to call it. This is just the most fully realized one, I feel like. Or, you know, something, it's not even that. It's the best songs. But Sirens is great. In fact, I would call Sirens and this absolutely essential. And I know a lot of people will die on the hill of Hall of the Mountain King. Maybe I just haven't gotten my head around that one yet. I got that one a lot later than I got the first few. But this one, the first full length, they're just absolutely classic. And then, I gotta print the record. It's 29 minutes in, but I got a couple more to talk about here, and we can't do that in silence, right? I'm gonna listen to a little Crna Udovica. Yeah, Sabotage. I really like Power of the Night too, which was on Atlantic. Fight for the Rock. Man, I own it. I've tried to give that record a chance. It's one of those records, you know, I come on here sometimes and talk about how this record or that record is, every time I put it on, it's better than I remember it being. Fight for the Rock is consistently worse than I remember it being. I mean, not that I've played it that often. I talk about records that I'll revisit like once a year. Fight for the Rock by Savatage is not one of those records. That's more like an every 5 to 10 years revisit. But every time I revisit, I'm going to go, oh, I remember this really sucked. Maybe it'll be better now. It's actually worse. So yeah, I don't love that one. And Hall of the Mountain King is cool. But I don't love it as much as those first couple here. But yeah, man, this one's gotten a little bit of play of late. Fucking First Metal Church. Yeah, I have the Dark now, and I have the third one, Blessing in Disguise, I think it's called. Those are both good. I like the third one more than the second one, I think. But this is the one that's still really the shit for me right here. Yeah. And then I actually, I'm spending a little bit of time in Norway with TNT, and you know, it's a little bit sort of cheesy, like the major key and shit. But like, it gets so much credibility just by the fact that he's singing in a Slavic language, you know? Anyway. Yeah, fucking TNT, Knights of the New Thunder, man. This has been a creeper of a band for me. It's taken a long time for these guys to grow on me, but you know something? It's pretty solid shit. It really is. I had the first one out here too. I was listening to that one as well. Yeah, this is the one that's all in Norwegian. But it also has Harley Davidson on it, so. How about those keys? Yeah, let me bump this ahead a little bit. I feel like we're selling a little bit short here. That's a little bit much on the, given how much praise I've heaped on these guys, I sort of want to give a little bit of a... This is more like the vibe that I'm in it for, right? All right. Well, that's a little bit of an overview. We'll see what I show next time. I have no idea where things are going to go, but you know, something that's part of why... I mean, honestly, that's part of why it's fun to have a record collection. If I want to hear something, I can go grab it, you know what I mean? That's why if you're watching this, you probably collect too. And that's what you're doing too, whether you realize it or not, I was going to say, but I'm sure you realize it, so that's what it's about, you know? So anyway, thanks as always for watching. It's funny, when I turned the camera on, I didn't know what the hell I was going to talk about. And here I'm going a little bit long by my standards. I try to keep it to about a half hour, so. Anyway, I always appreciate you watching. Thank you. And we'll talk to you soon. See you next time.